chicken wire is the future.
We love chicken wire.
Chicken wire.
It's bulbous. Or is that Bulbasaur? Bulbacized.
It's pretty cool.
It looks like a piece of corn, like those are little corn kernels coming off of there. Just don't bite into them, Dad.
I won't bite the corn.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. If you're just joining us, you're on the gathering point.
We'll go into the crackle bucket here.
Go to the crackle bucket, dip it in water.
You gonna dunk that?
Why not?
The sound was amazing. We got to do that one for ASMR.
So, Dad, if that's copper,
No, it's not. It's aluminum.
if that's aluminum, and we were to recycle all that clear glass with the aluminum, what color do you think that would make in the furnace?
It wouldn't work at all.
Aluminum's no good for glass.
Aluminum is no good for glass, and that actually is chicken wire, which is steel that's got a galvanized coating over it. So
I was really wrong.
aluminum would have never worked because aluminum melts at about 600 degrees and steel melts at about 3,000 degrees. So the steel can hold up to the glass, but aluminum would just melt and not work at all.
So that is a nice, hot, juicy beginning to the show, folks. I'm gonna do the warmer-upper here. We're gonna make an open heart classic GA design. And let me just get my color on here real quick. But welcome back to the show. It's been a few weeks for multiple reasons. And now we're back, and it feels pretty darn good to be back into a little bit of a rhythm of what we normally do here at the Glass Academy. And how many of you guys saw that video of us working the frozen block bucket? Our water that sits behind the bench was frozen about 1.5 inches down into the bucket. It was pretty insane.
That's the block bucket right there, guys, and it was frozen. That was hilarious. I was out of town when that went down, and Jake pulled a block out of there, and it totally came out a solid chunk of glass. It was pretty sweet. So look how he's got that twist going on. He's making a Valentine's Day super bonanza loving heart, which is the signature
Super
Glass
bonanza.
Academy open heart. Is something we've been doing since, God, the mid-90s. And it was originally an exercise we kind of started so that we would all learn how to pull stems of goblets way better. And that looks pretty cool. That's a big one there, Jake.
Yeah, I thought, you know, what the heck?
That's what I was
What the heck?
That's what I thought.
Nice.
Yeah. But I haven't made one of these since, this was actually one of the products when I was growing up in high school. I came in here and did a whole production day of these on my own one time, and you guys showed me how to do them, and I just made them all day, and that was pretty fun. That was before I knew really what was going on with glass.
These were invented because I
just told everyone that. It's cool.
when I was at the Henry Ford.
So I'm gonna do a couple more toucher-uppers. We pretty much got the shape, but that was 2 cold pieces that touched together on the tips there. So I'm gonna heat up this center spot, squeeze them together, make a nice constriction, and then work on this bottom part here by knocking it off, hooking it onto its own moil.
That's the tool I didn't have, was the torch.
The old torchy poo.
Oh, you gave it the super squish, eh?
Yes. Now watch this move.
Ooh, the shadow's amazing. And why are you hooking it like that?
Because it's not going to stick. It's too cold, and I can flip it. Now I can torch just the very bottom and make it smooth and gorgeous and beautiful.
And put it right in the annealing oven.
And then
Unless
take
you're
it
going
right
to jam
over.
a GA stamp on the bottom there.
I wasn't planning on it. But that's the heart right there. Real simple, real clean. And that one's going to be for sale.
Sure. And what you guys don't see is the bright red and pink colors on that, because the glass is still probably around 1600 degrees. So it was looking kind of brown when he went in there. But once it comes out of the annealing oven, it's going to be a beautiful Valentine's Day heart with a twisted pink opaque pink and opaque red colors, which are always known as Valentine's colors.
As if you've never seen our show before, this is the Molten Magma. It's 2100 degrees, but you're gonna see throughout this process, it wants to continually cool down and solidify. And that's the trick with blowing glass, is to get that glass at the temperature you want, keep it that way, keep it molten, and then let it solidify when you want it to be solid. And Chris is going right into the iridescent gold. So you take a look at this and look at the texture on there. So he's got a gold coat on there already, but he doesn't have any of that red texture on there just yet. He's gonna blow a bubble into this first, and this is the beauty of the mold, folks. There's many different reasons we're interested in exploring these 4 different size molds that we have, which are right here in the bucket of water. Oh yes, look at that lever action. But one of the main reasons is we can go and do color patterns that wouldn't traditionally be possible if we were to hand sculpt the entirety of the shape of this bubble. For example, exactly this one. If we were to put those spots on that bubble and we had to then heat it up and blow it out as a team of 2, Matt's blowing into the pipe, Chris is shaping it up, within multiple heats of shaping that cup body, you would lose the texture of that red. So what we're doing now is keeping that texture there, getting it real hot, dropping it into the mold, and it'll come away with that texture. It's a super cool look, only available through this pattern.
Go ahead and put it out. I'm going in.
So he drops it into the mold, Matt closes it, he's holding it steady. Now this takes a lot of teamwork. Chris can't see what's going on. He's feeling with his breath and his hands the way he's turning in there. You see when he stepped, Matt knew to open it up. And look at the shape we have here.
Okay, we're putting a heart on this.
It is iris gold, yep. So check this out. Right now we're moving to the next step. This is the specialty addition to this product that's going to make it a signature collectible.
Ready when you are, Matt.
Chris is torching a certain spot. Here comes
Set it on the
Matt
bench.
with this. Look at that, folks. Oh, baby. So that just went on swell. Remember that reds don't look, you're seeing a little because of the bench, but some colors aren't going to look true while they're hot. So this red really is looking kind of brownish right now. When this piece cools down completely, I'll go over and show you guys the red when he goes to take a reheat.
Oh yeah, you're watching this.
He's just wetting out that heart so it's nice and smooth and you don't cut your finger on your Valentine's Day special glass. So Matt just brought over the punty, folks. This is the flip around. With a tender break, we've now got a hole on the end of that. And there's some serious tech, and the cool thing about this show is I'm going to make the next glass, I'll make a tumbler, then Matt's going to give a shot at making one of our double shot glass designs. And they're all going to be different color patterns, but I'm going to talk through the kind of the tech behind the scenes, what's going through the glass blower's mind when you're using this mold, because it looks pretty simple, it looks faster, but there's many different things you got to keep on your mind as you're doing it. Look at this move. Chris, working the tips of the jacks. It takes such a steady hand to push that out even when you're working with 2 different blades. So he just did the move, it's called, as we call it, the al bumpe.
Yeah, bumpe.
So Matt's coming in with a pretty refined skill here. He's making a blown handle, and it looks like, what color do you got on there? Red? So a matching red handle here. He's blowing a bubble into it, and he left the bottom untouched. So the bubble's blowing right through the bottom of this mass of glass. It's
swing it
like
out,
a beautiful setup.
Into a
He's
cylinder,
gonna bring it right
it
into
on
a
over.
cylinder, and he's got a great handle here for Chris. The key is doing this in an efficient manner. These guys are lining up their timing. Chris is going for the handle tool. We should have had that prepped, but he's getting it, he's doing it. The glass is still at least 1500 degrees. What Matt's bringing over is 2100. Look at that. Now watch the way Chris uses gravity. He catches it. That was a perfect handle, Matt. Lays it on there. And now he doesn't want to touch it too much. The less you touch the glass with the tools, the more elegant and beautiful it's going to be. So he's using gravity, swinging it. So check out, we get a little bit of iridescent bling to that. See how it turned more amber? You got a little bit of a blue metallic sheen.
There's that
That's
heart
beautiful.
right there. Little loving pink heart. And that's going to be bright red, folks.
And now we're gonna see if it comes off the pipe. We spent all this time putting it together. A little drop of water on the bottom. Tough. I mean, there's not like, I mean, we don't have it laid out. You got to have a pile of color there to get a good coating on it, but you're also just dripping a glob of hot glass into a pile. So to get it to match and be double coated and powerful and nice and just where you want it, you got to kind of, you know, not be talking too much as you're doing it. Red's a finicky color. A lot of times red will turn brown, and you start to see that a little bit on the orange one when it had the aventurine next to it. All those touching points of the color overlapping turned a really dark, kind of unattractive brown. So, I mean, when we have a selection of like 115 different colors to choose from, it's a lot of knowledge that we've all got to accumulate in our brains to have this thing, to have everything work out the way we want it.
Dipping hot glass into a mold. This is going to give the twist.
That's got the lines in it, so I can go right in here right now and roll this in here, and it's only, this is dusting the crevices. That super sparkly glass is only sticking in the valleys of all those 12 ribs. So now we've got that color tucked in there real nice. I'm gonna squish it in there one time so that it smooths out and I don't trap a bunch of bubbles when I gather over it.
Because you're gathering over it before you go in the mold.
A real thin, clear layer on top of it.
So what is the advantage to using a mold?
That's kind of what we're exploring today, and right now it's a lot to do with color pattern.
All right, that's one advantage. Another advantage is consistent size and shape.
Depends on how you do it and the hand skills and multiple different things, but it is a nice measuring amount of the glass to be able to confirm your size on each one, and especially when we're shipping so much glass online, it's a beautiful opportunity for you guys to watch these shows and purchase one-of-a-kinders. So I got a nice gather on top here. Now I need to let this clear glass soak into the colors on the inside and let all that heat become one nice consistent temperature. I'm gonna puff it out a little and then we'll drop it right in the mold. You don't want to go in too hot, and you just got to turn consistent. As soon as you feel it start sticking, just tap it and get out of there. An extra second too much. After Matt opens the mold, beautiful spiral on the bottom. Wait till you guys see this. Then it's going to be puffed out, and it's not going to be a straight wall, nice situation. But if you don't blow, you stop blowing before he opens the mold, then it's going to be concave and not be exactly what you want. Oh my God, the spiral on the bottom. So this is what we're going to do here.
So how does Jake know when it's full? He'll feel pressure. When you blow so much, it kind of, the air comes back at you.
Would you look at that? That's so tasty. It's blinging hard. So now I'm just gonna start heating it up. And if I've got a light pink heart, I think I'll put it on the dark red side. Control, knowledgeable, friendly, and anyone will hook you up. Come down. Come on down. Come on down. Look at how sweet that looks. Remember, that's bright red, light pink heart. We're gonna GA stamp the bottom of it so that there's nothing too radical on the outside. And let's get it off the pipe. This punny looks perfect. got a clear bubble, I'm gonna follow right behind him and bring him this spiral trail. We're gonna do 2 coats. Typically, pink's one of our most expensive colors. I think just like let it get a little longer, give it a little heat and swing it, and that should be just fine. I'm gonna get a couple more coats of color on here.
There you go. That's looking
Color
good.
selection.
I went for 2 opaque pinks. I'm gonna do 1 transparent pink on top. It's a larger grain frit, so when we do this beautiful spiral trail, it's gonna pull out and look like a long strand, a bunch of long strands.
So many choices.
There it is.
All right, this is that
Beautiful.
nice fat
Keep
trail.
it tight. So this is the tricky part, and this is something that I'm still figuring out when we did the spiral one, is you got a cold core, the trail's still hot. What I would do to make the neckline easier, so you're not going over that hump and trying to figure it out, is just do 1 quick mark on the back end and flatten that neck area, then give it a quick heat.
This is how the apprenticeship action goes down, guys. You're seeing it right here.
And tap your foot when you're done.
You got this, Matt.
Hope he wore his tap
A little
shoes.
longer.
There you
Okay,
go,
up.
lift up. Now turn fast and just keep blowing. You'll probably lift up a little bit, a little less, push down. All right, let's check it out.
Oh,
Yes.
bada bing!
Woohoo!
Sit down,
Give him a
tighten up
round
the
of
neck.
thumbs up, folks. He's working it.
None of that matters, you're gonna trim it right off.
Real gentle on that.
That's
You got a
probably
lot
just
of
fine.
time.
It's gonna be funky, but when we flip it around, we'll open it up and tighten it up. Take a little heat on the bottom and indent the bottom. The thickness is great, it's the perfect amount of glass.
Here he goes, folks. Getting the superheater out. Getting ready for where that heart's going to go. Jake's going to be bringing him the heart, nice hot heart over
that
after he
clear
gets the
spot.
spot soft.
That's the heart facing in the right direction. Steady. Great stick. That's where you want it to be cold. You want it to crack because Matt's just about done. He's maybe giving is that thing wet out enough? That heart? Yeah, it looks good. He's going to be knocking this off here fairly shortly, and that's the beauty of glass blowing. It's all temperature controlled. To have your glass right at about 1400 where it's solid, it's done moving, but your punty is down about 1900 and it starts cracking and it's ready to come off. You want to separate. That's right where he's got it. It's looking great.
Yeah, it's
Let's
something,
get it in the box.
something that might be useful information for a glass blower, not just somebody who is a glass enthusiast who doesn't blow glass, is that when you put water on the punty to break it off the piece, you're not trying to put the water into the crack, the connection point onto your glass or the crevice. You want to put it on the punty itself, so the whole punty as a whole mass gets cold, and then it wants to release off of that hot piece. This is great. He's going for the stamp onto the bottom.
Listen closely now.
You're going to hear it.
Do I smell some spaghetti on the stove? Super cool.
So someone asked in the comments, what is this pattern called? A drizzle, a swizzle?
What a great
Some.
question. It's like a bunch of wet noodles, a bunch of red wet noodles thrown upon the piece. And the really cool thing is, which I think, are you using the mold on this one?
Yes, he's going to get it out right now.
Bright red, beautiful transparent pink, one of my favorite colors. And the problem is, the distributor that we use has been out of that color for quite a bit now. So we're on to our last little bit, and that's part of the business side of things, is keeping our colors, our website ones we recreate, up to date and swapping them when we need to from different distributors. It's kind of a pretty hardcore situation. All the time. There's
Supply
3
chain.
different colors right now that I've got low stock on that just about to the point where I'm going to put a
Good.
little sticker on our tins to say, be careful. Chris needs to really be on point
Here.
with his timing in order to get all of these beautiful spirals on there in
Yep.
one move. So the more you eat this piece, typically people do like thicker glass, but from a glass blow perspective, making thinner glass is more technical and more challenging. So we prefer to do that when we're having a good time or we're pushing the limits and trying to design something new. It's nice to stretch the amount of glass and really show your hand skills by making things really thin. Let's watch this tender-handed application here. Look at that. If that's not satisfying, I don't know what is. I love it. This is a hard-hitting baller mug. An annealer is what this is going to go into in order to cool it down overnight. And that's smooth like butter, but I'm just gonna get that little bit of edge away just for the heck of it. Well, that's just a part of being a glass blower, and honestly, that's what keeps it fresh and cool and different for us throughout the year. Not doing the same thing every day. Our products are seasonal, we're always growing, and the temperatures change. And I mean, those 1 degree days when Matt and Oliver and I were in here in the morning, we had the heat on in the building, we had the furnace pumping, we were blowing glass, we were making gnomes, the 3-team production style, running around, and we still couldn't even get warm. It was freaking cold in here.
Yeah. I just activated the poll.
All right, is that on Facebook and YouTube, or
It's
just
on just Facebook.
Okay. I don't think we have polling ability on YouTube, do we?
We do.
It's a little harder to get
Yeah.
to. Facebook, I can kind of get it instantly up there.
Oh, yeah.
So you are taking another layer over this and blowing in the mold, correct?
It's true.
Okay.
This is 2 layers of pink with that aventurine sparkle on top of it. As we get more proficient with these molds and we know the size of glass we want, notice how first of all, I plan on making this a thicker bottom one. It's all clear up here, and I'm not having too much leftover glass wasted and left behind. Maybe turn it into recycled glass, but we still paid to have it heated up. It's gonna then cool down and then become a blue. And you can't use blue with everything, you can use clear.
Yeah, and Jake's saying that he was keeping the moil, the top part of this piece, all clear in the pipe. When we're running production on these, and we do them for a whole day, all that pipe knockoff that's all crystal is going to be perfect for charging right back into the crystal tank. We don't have to put that in the recycle tank. Nice one on that one, Jake.
Look at the thickness on the bottom.
Looks good.
It's tight and it's crispy. Oh, it's the Valentine's show. Is that hot plate still on?
That is looking good.
That's so tasty.
It's so nice when you press it in and it's
I
just,
know.
just oozing down into the glass. 251 shows, 251 giveaways. But you just got to pay for the shipping, guys. And now this is getting finished up to go into the annealing oven, where it'll sit in there overnight. We'll initiate the annealing process, which will cool it down a predetermined amount of time, which is about between 16 and 18 hours right now we've got the annealer set for. We just did some bigger pieces over Christmas that we needed to have a lot longer annealing cycle. But we've annealed things for 3 months before, guys, and that was some really seriously thick pieces. Now right into the oven. This oven's sitting at 1,000 degrees.
Oh, baby.
And he's in and gets the door closed. Nice job. That was a beaut.
Nice. This is the Annealer Reveal. Here are the products from the show. We had a really productive show, some beautiful pieces. I'll just go down from the right to the left and show you guys everything that went down. This, one of my favorites on the show. I do believe this one's actually the only thing that didn't sell on the show. But look at the texture, look at the bottom. The punty came off perfect. We got it shined. TGP number 251, the gathering point, and then here you got the Heart Marini. Let's highlight that Heart Marini right there. It's just so tasty.
That looks so nice.
It's bulbous, cool, and loving.
Absolutely.
But this is a really cool one. The idea of the show was to use this mold we have that's going to make a tumbler this size, and we experimented with it. We made a couple different renditions of it, made mugs out of it. Excuse me, Matt got on the pipe a little bit and tested it out as well, and it really turned out really cool. So this could still be available on the Gathering Point page. You're going to want to take a look at that if you're interested. We got many more styles like this to come. This is the first of many. Then I went ahead and spearheaded a tumbler in a color pattern we had already done before, which turned out incredible. Half pink, half red, adventuring in the cracks. This is a color pattern that really is only able to be done in a mold, having a softer or a stiffer color half and half on a piece like this, because the mold brings it right into the shape it needs to be. If you're blowing this by hand, it's going to want to blow out wonky and kind of ovular. This was the warmer upper, which sold, and we actually sold a couple of those as well. Super cool, bright colored open heart. This was Matt's first attempt at blowing into one of the molds that we have, and we kind of coached him through it. We told him the color pattern. It went on really nice, the spiral did. And then look at this honker. This is the Cadillac of drinkware from last night's show. Look at how beautifully bright this turned out. When we were making this on the show, it looked really dark, really mysterious. Look at the Rosetta foot, how tight those roses are. You got the heart right down here. Stamp. Nice thumb saddle or finger saddle if you're going to grab your drink like that. And then for the giveaway, which I'll show you this. When you were a child, what was your favorite Valentine's tradition? Cards for classmates, candies for parents, making cards for family. You send that answer to enews@glassacademy.com. Bess was saying she was the card champion. She used to make 200 Valentine's cards every year and give them to everybody that she knew, and that makes sense. She's a champion like that.
That sounds just like Bess.
That sounds exactly like Bess. But send that into enews@glassacademy.com. That's the email, and that's how you get entered to win this beauty for next week.